You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
It is Tuesday, June 16th, and Tuesdays in June are special here in St. Louis, and we'll share why, because of great music. Maybe you've missed the opportunities to get out and enjoy great music because of, everybody being stuck at home, many people being stuck at home over the last couple of months. So an opportunity, unique opportunity here in the St. Louis area to enjoy wonderful music, and looking forward to sharing that with you. And also we get to visit with our Church of the Week. We're going to head to Liberty, Missouri in just a little bit as well. Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting the Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at csl.edu.
Live uncommon.
Right here in St. Louis is a musical treasure that some of you may know about, and the Carillon series at Concordia Seminary in St. Louis. Joining us by phone this morning, Dr. Kent Burreson, Associate Professor of Systematic Theology and Dean of the Chapel at Concordia Seminary. Dr. Burreson, thanks for being our guest today on the Coffee Hour.
My pleasure.
So a Carillon series, before we get too far into what's happening with the Carillon series, what is a carillon for those who might not have ever experienced the beauty of a carillon?
Well, that's a good question, Andy. So a carillon is a musical instrument consisting of bells, and often usually housed in a tower like the one that we have on the Concordia Seminary campus. Some people may not know there's a difference between a carillon and a chime. Both are usually played by a carillonneur. That's a person that has the training, background, education to play a carillon or a chime. But a carillon has more than 23 bells. Chime has less than 23 bells. Either can also be played mechanically if you have the mechanical wherewithal to do so. You need motors and those kinds of things. But it has a keyboard. It doesn't look like a keyboard on a piano. It has these long rods that you hit basically with your fist that pulls the levers that enact the hammers, which are on the side of the bells that chime the bells. So that's what a carillon is.
Is there music composed specifically for a carillon? I imagine there is, since it's such a unique instrument.
Yeah, no, that's a good question, Sarah. Yeah, a lot of the music for carillon is either composed for the carillon, or it's music, and you'll see this in our concert series this summer, music that was composed for other instruments that a carillonneur or a musician transposes for the carillon. So there's a lot of unique music for the carillon, and then there's a lot of music, Mozart's, for instance, tonight's program has Mozart in it, it has Bach in it, but those have all been transposed. Our previous two concerts this summer, in which our seminary carillonneur, Carl Keldermans, performed the concerts, a number of the pieces were things that Carol had transposed for the carillon. And part of the reason for that is that the carillon has the minor third is a primary component of the carillon sound, and that's unusual amongst instruments. So you have to compose a lot of music for it that is unique, or transpose music for it that is unique to the carillon.
So tell us. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Sorry, it's Sarah's turn. I'm so excited to jump in.
I know. Every time we talk to you about this, I learn something new about the carillon and its music, and it's just so cool. So tell us about the concert series. How long has this concert series actually been going on?
Oh, that's a good question. I should have looked that up. I think we've been doing it since at least into the 90s. It may go back all the way to the first concert, which was 1971, the inaugural concert for the dedication of the carillon. But at least into the 1980s. So we've been doing it for quite some time.
So tell us about the series. I know it's already started this summer.
Right.
Now that people have more of an opportunity to get out, this is taking place on Tuesday evenings at Concordia Seminary. Tell us about how we can enjoy the music of the carillon at Concordia Seminary.
Yeah, so it's a great opportunity, especially in the midst of the pandemic, to get outside and to be on the seminary campus, beautiful campus, and to hear this wonderful music. So concerts start at 7. They last about an hour. And you can seat yourself anywhere. People will sit in the main quad on the campus, and then you can look directly at the tower. You can sit in Concordia Park, which is the area in front of the campus that abuts DeMont Avenue. You bring a lawn chair. You can bring dinner. You can bring wine and cheese, whatever you want to bring to enjoy the concert. And it's easy for people on our spacious campus to maintain physical distancing from one another. So it's a great opportunity to hear some great music on a unique instrument, So and the first 2 concerts, 4 of our 5 concerts, we're having 5 concerts this summer, all Tuesday nights in June, and our seminary carillonneur, Carl Kelderman's performed the first 2. He'll perform the last 2. Tonight we have a guest carillonneur, Roy Crozen, who's from the Netherlands, I believe, but he resides here in the United States. He's the regular carillonneur for Centralia, Illinois. So he will be performing a program that includes, like I said, Mozart, Bach, and Debussy, for instance. So you're sort of crossing the whole range of things. And I think some of the other pieces are specifically composed for Carillon, like a piece by Roy Hamlin Johnson, whom I don't know at all, called Chartres from a Carillon book for the liturgical year. So again, that must be a piece that was specifically composed for the Carillon.
Yeah, the way this is arranged is it's perfect for social distancing in the middle of a global pandemic, because you don't have to sit next to anyone, and the person who's performing is up in a tower. So
that's correct.
Everyone is very spaced out, and
right.
Well, it's such a wonderful opportunity too, because so many of us have missed out on going to concerts and musical events, and to be able to have this opportunity right now and the weather is fantastic for the next couple of weeks too. So.
Yeah, the weather has been perfect for the first 2 concerts, and it looks like it's going to be great tonight too. So yeah, I mean, you can't beat it, honestly. I mean, I've enjoyed the first 2 concerts thoroughly, so I encourage people to consider coming.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about Carol Kelderman's. Kelderman's. Sorry.
Yeah, Carol Kelderman's.
Tell us more about him. Yeah.
Yeah, Carl was the carillonneur for Springfield, Illinois for many years, I think about 30 years. And he retired from that position a number of years ago. He became the seminary's carillonneur when former Professor Schmidt, who, not the current Professor Schmidt, but former Professor Schmidt, who taught worship here at the seminary, died very suddenly back in the early 90s, or 2000, in 2000. And Carl became the carillonneur shortly before Dr. Schmidt's death. So he's been the seminary's carillonneur for 20 plus years now, and he is a very highly respected carillonneur. He performs throughout the United States and throughout the world, and has 6 recordings of carillon music that are available. I need to explore actually if they're available like through iTunes or something like that. But and he's also composed a lot of music for the Carillon, as well as adapted music for the Carillon. So very prolific performer.
So tonight's concert is at 7 p.m., is that right? And throughout the month of June on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. At Concordia Seminary in St. Louis. You can hear it from basically anywhere on campus, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you could be anywhere on campus. Yeah, somebody was asking me about, well, what if it rains? Well, we don't cancel Carillon concerts. It's not supposed to rain tonight. But if we don't cancel them unless there's lightning, then there's a concern for Carl up in the top of the bell tower. But if it's just raining, you can sit in your car and just roll your window down a little bit and still hear the concert. So,
tell us a little bit about the tower. We have just about 2 minutes left. Tell us a little bit about the tower and where the carillonneur is to yes.
Yeah. So the tower was built in 1968. It was planned when the when the original plans for the campus included the tower, but the money wasn't available to build it back in the 1920s. And so it wasn't completed until a special campaign was held in the Lutheran Church of Missouri Synod in the 1960s. It was completed in 1968, and then the bells were fitted, placed into the tower in 1970, so 2 years after the completion of the tower. The bells were all lowered by crane from the top into the tower. And I mean, if we have to take them out, which at some point we should, to do some repair work, we would have to take them out through the top again. So they're housed in a shell, a casing that houses the bells, one on top of the other, going from the lowest and heaviest bell, which is 2 tons, up to the lightest bell, which is 17 pounds. And there are 49 bells in our carillon. And the carillonneur sits in a little booth, in a sense, that is just up on that level where all the bells are. So he's up with all the bells. It gets a little loud up there. It also gets very hot up there because there's no air conditioning. So summer concerts are hot for the carillonneur. But he sits in a booth up there, and in the booth is the console for the carillon from which he plays the concerts. So.
Now, if you're sitting down in the quad and looking up at the tower, you can certainly hear it. There probably isn't a whole lot to see from down in the quad or anywhere on campus, correct?
No, but that's correct. No, you're right, Andy. There's nothing to see. In fact, I remember people clap at the end of each piece, appropriate for responding to the musical offering that the carillonneur has made. But I remember Carl telling me at one point he cannot hear the clapping. So he has no idea, that people are responding in any way to the music that's going on down, and what people are hearing. So
you pointed out earlier that this is a rather unique instrument. I think it's one of only a few left in the United States too. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, they're in the United States. There are about 170. So we have decent numbers spread throughout all 50 states. I don't know that I don't think every state has a carillon. The state of Missouri has 2. So we are one of 2 in the state of Missouri. Illinois has a few more, I think, than Missouri does. But yeah, about 170 plus carillons throughout the U.S. They're expensive instruments to construct and to maintain, and so that's why you see maybe fewer carillons here in the U.S. than in the case in Europe, for instance. So.
The Carillon Summer Series at Concordia Seminary taking place at 7 p.m. tonight and Tuesdays throughout the month of June. It's a great opportunity to get outside with the family, enjoy the beautiful weather and great music. Dr. Kent Burreson, Associate Professor of Systematic Theology and Dean of the Chapel at Concordia Seminary. Thanks so much for being our guest on the Coffee Hour today.
My pleasure. Good to be with you.
Well, it's a good day. We also get to not only visit here in St. Louis, but we're going to head to Liberty, Missouri, talk with our Church of the Week, St. Stephen Lutheran Church in Liberty, Missouri. You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.